and then some other cars. And the purposes for these purchases are for monitoring of rural electrification. Seriously? You mean Chryslers? Those are saloon cars, plush saloon cars. Whoever has a Chrysler packs it and uses it for daily office work.
I'm really surprised that Chrysler is going to be used for monitoring of projects. That one, I don't think.
Rural electrification.
Normally, when you go to the ministries, is these long cruises that they use in.
But all this captured in the Auditor General's report.
Yeah, first of all, let me say that these reports were laid before the House just about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and currently the committee responsible for that's the Public Accounts Committee is yet to meet on these referrals that has been placed before Mr. Speaker. Thankfully, God willing, this weekend we will be meeting the Auditor General to go through some of the reports. But normally when the reports are brought, we also as a committee need to bring those who actually wrote the report, question them as to some of the things that they put in the report, so that we'll get a better understanding. And then by so doing, whatever recommendations that come out will reflect the true situation or the true picture as put by the Auditor General. And we've done several reports based on the same criteria. So for us as a committee, when such reports are brought, we don't just jump into conclusion, because we've gone through certain reports that at the end of the day, some of the things that were written had to be.
Okay. So you're saying this could be one of them?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It could be that, Auditor General's reports.
When we come, we need to educate the public as to what goes on.
So you're only telling the procedure?
Exactly. Okay. Now, after we've gone through the report with the auditees, we then invite those in question. Sometimes during auditing, you'll be required to bring certain particulars, so on and so forth, and maybe at that time those things are not brought. And for the auditors, they will go ahead and then, draw conclusions as to some of the challenges that they see within during the auditing period. But normally during these sessions, sometimes those documentation and other things are brought, and maybe some of the things that have been written in the report has to be reversed. But then, at the time of presentation, those things were not there. So when it comes to audit reports, we need to be a little bit circumspect about it. We should allow the committee to do its work. At the end of the day, if those things were things that have not been approved, it will come out. We shouldn't, the media can highlight some of the things they see, but for us as a committee that have been tasked to do some form of work, we cannot come out and then jump into conclusion. Okay, we will only jump into conclusion after our work has been completed.
Okay. Do you think that those raising questions then, for example, we've had a Member of Parliament for Kwasi, Kweku Kwati, who one time was a special advisor, I believe, at the Ministry of Finance, to the Minister of Finance during the NBP administration, well-versed in finance and risk management issues. Perhaps, do you think that their concerns are preposterous?
No, as a citizen of this country and as a Member of Parliament, he has the right to raise issues. For that one, I don't think
because you're a member of the,
I'm a member of the committee, so I cannot just come out and then
make absurd.
He is not a member of the committee,
so he can make any comments.
He can make any comments, but that should not be the finality of what Parliament is going to present.
But Obi, the substantive of the Auditor General's report, and we know the Auditor General's report is the lead auditing agency for government, indeed for the Republic of Ghana. After undertaking a performance audit, value for money audit, so to speak, and seeing that funds have not been judiciously used and given advice, because we know that there are queries that are made, and then they give their recommendations at the tail end of the audit report, as we all see that. That is self-indicting. That means that we have not used those funds adequately for the purposes for which.
Well, I'll start where he ended.
Caution. He ended on a cautious statement.
No, not necessarily. One, to commend the media for bringing these out. Two, to advise he and his committee that if you're not careful, they may end up not really playing the role that the public expects them to play. Why do I say that? There are several reports that they've sat on. How many of them have they even reported to Parliament? As I sit here, I've seen a lot of Auditor General's reports. They've gone for retreats, they've gone through it. They are supposed to even lay their reports for us to debate and take decisions and actions. Where are they? What is stopping them from laying these reports? Is it the speaker who is not allowing them to lay the reports? Is it the majority leader? Is it the chairman of the committee? What are the members doing about these things? That's number one. Number two, if you look at this report, as you said, it's a huge indictment on how we do things. And if you're not careful, when you go to the donors for support, they wonder whether indeed you really are serious.
So that is why they raise concern, the donors, I mean. They raise concerns about the way we use the money they give us.
Yes, and it's a typical example. One, if you listen to what the media has brought up, especially Joy FM, $350 million facility for rural electrification. The Parliament gave approval somewhere October 2008. That's just 2 months before the MPP exited. That funding had been secured. Now,
$350 million.
$350 million for rural electrification had been secured. Now a new government comes in to inherit. And then the issue that is raised is that because 85% was coming from Exim Bank from America, and they wanted, as a condition, maybe the contractors to come from America, instead of doing open tender, they sole source. So if you have sole source, then go for value for money audit. It was done. The Auditor General even felt that during negotiations, we could have negotiated for the contract sum to even come down. But what we negotiated for fine. Now the issue that the Auditor General is raising is that there was supposed to be a $17 million contingency fund. And now, out of the contingency fund, without approval from Parliament, we've gone to that fund to buy...
Which was not stated in the initial
agreement
for which the loan was supposed to be used for.
Because what you did was contingency fund.
Right.
You've gone to that contingency fund to take some money to buy cars that you said you were going to use to monitor the project in the rural areas. Now he's saying that if you've gone to buy cars, why would you go and buy cars that are so luxurious that the average person will not think that you use such cars? Or it's even prudent to use such cars for such monitoring. And then the ministry responded by saying that, one, we bought some items for capacity building. Two, we thought that because the loan was coming from America, we should buy American cars. So in America, they produce only Lexus and Chrysler. Not one, not two, so many.
Okay, they bought 4 trucks, and we know those 4 trucks, 20 of them at the cost of $700,000 US. Greedo Ford, 2. Dodge Dakota, you know Dodge. Yeah. It's a luxury car. They're all luxury cars, I mean, because when you spark one, the fuel that goes boom, and they're all petrol, I mean, basically. 6 of them. Ford, you have a Dodge?
I don't even know this.
Ford Escape. You know Ford Escape, sir?
Yeah.
Ford Escape.
He's
a new one.
He's a user of Ford. So.
But he bought it with his own money, so that's
so
okay.
He knows that.
3. Then we have...
listen to the list.
Lexus. You know Lexus, the 400, the one that looks like the Toyota...
Yes.
Land Cruiser.
But you know, it's the same company, Toyota, but you know, they have the luxury... The luxury
so
customized type.
If you say you're supposed to buy American-made cars, Lexus is not made in America.
These are cars we see on the road to a drink and that we marvel.
Yes.
So with the young people, when we see them, we marvel. We say, "Wow, come in the middle." And Chrysler 300, and we know the Chrysler 300, the latest model. You know, the big car luxury. In America, their cars don't come cheap. The capacity is huge.
3. A lot of fuel.
And then there is photocopiers and things like that. I mean, those ones are just small, 8,000.
33,000.
Yes.
For 2 huge photocopiers. Yes.
And 2 huge photocopiers are costing the country $33,000.
If you even multiply it by 3, 99,000
Ghana cedi. That's almost 100,000 Ghana cedi.
Yes, and that is 1 billion old cedis.
For 2.
For 2.
Which types are that? Do they self come and pick the papers themselves?
There are different.
They come and pick the papers from your office.
No,
is it robot?
No. I heard one of your
robotic.
I have one of your panelists on Joy FM saying that they are going to photocopy them. So.
But anyway, on a very serious subject, do you think, I mean, not aligning yourself to whatever committee it is, but speaking as a panelist and also a social commentator, but also somebody who represents a constituency and a political following, do you think that sometimes it is wise for public officials to also perhaps agree on such decisions, whether they've been advisedly been given by public officials or just normal technocrats within the ministry?
Yeah, I've said over and over again that as public officers, when you are put as the head of any particular institution, you need to be extra vigilant. If you can remember when we discussed this issue of Shraj.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, when the lady was being, take this, you ask take this, and then you just take it. Sometimes when our ministers, deputy ministers are appointed into such offices, sometimes the technocrats wants to be to look good, and they bring before them several. He's been a deputy minister,
so he looked
nobody
good.
Brought any offer.
You see,
he's denying it.
Any offer.
For that one, no problem. But you see, certain things will be brought before you, but
because the directors also want to enjoy it. So once you enjoy it, they also take part.
Exactly. But you, the minister or deputy minister, needs to be very vigilant, because at the end of the day, it is the public purse. You ask yourself, if I'm to monitor a project, do I need a Chrysler to monitor the project?
Well, obviously, my private company, would I do that?
You see, you don't need a Chrysler. A Land Cruiser, everybody will agree to it. But when
it's a multi-purpose.
Exactly. But Chrysler and then what, Dodge? Lexus. These are private cars that are used privately
for luxurious.
Yeah, so maybe the energy ministry, that is
Chrysler,
their choice
Lexus,
of
Ford,
vehicles
Dodge.
that they use for the officials. If that is their choice of vehicles, then I believe that this is
the
something
minister.
that
The minister at the time. He lived in the US.
Otieje.
Yeah, Otieje, he was a minister at the time.
Otieje before
Boa.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
probably very soon they will go and buy a jet.
So these are the things that we as politicians we need to look at critically. And I believe that at our committee sittings, definitely we are going to look into details.
But the point is that the Public Accounts Committee, you only make the reports and the recommendations.
No, that's the issue I was raising.
Listen, just last week,
because I've attended many of those.
Just last week,
as a media person,
we brought some of the reports that we've been able to come into this conclusion to the floor of the House, and you know the Speaker said something that was very good. Now look, for how long will this committee continue to bring reports that looks the same over the years and nothing seems not to be done?
Someone will say that's lip service.
And therefore, the Speaker himself, the leadership of the committee will have to meet and then take a decisive decision on these issues, because public servants are really raising this country of ours. Some.
Okay. And talking about public servants, if, let's say, Honorable Koku Kwatin goes on the tangent and saying government is not empathizing with Ghanaians due to the financial constraints that we're facing, and so perhaps is also no type of feeling the same, is that not going to political?
Oh, this is a very poor country.
Trying to make a meal out of nothing.
You have every right. You borrow money in our name. We vote you to come and run the system. You go for $350 million. Indeed, if you listen to the report, it's not only the buying of cars. several local contractors who were given the jobs to do did not do them. They go to the field, they don't find them there. But some of these persons have been paid. So at the end of the day, the 350 million that you go for, you may end up only benefiting from about 200 million. The rest gone to waste, but we will have to find money to pay back these loans. And if you replicate this in various ministries and institutions, then there's a big drain on the economy. So if you find these things, if you don't talk about them, if you don't make so much noise, they will be repeated across board. Now, as we speak, who are the beneficiaries of the 38 cars? We need to know. Who are those using these cars?
No, it's been stated in the report
and are they
that
using
the
the
Lexus
cars?
was for the minister. One was for the minister.
And the other two, because the Lexus were 3.
Oh, well.
Chrysler, 3.
We'll find out.
Yes.
Sure.
Who are using these cars? Are they using them for the purpose?
You have been a minister before. How is it like enjoying all the luxuries that comes with being a minister?
If you say luxuries, maybe in relative terms, when I was deputy minister, I was using an old 4-wheel drive. And that's what I was using all the way to Tamale. Official
had
vehicle.
an assignment.
Official
It's an old,
very old one. I traveled in Dakar, or on Dakar, to Tamale to go and inspect the stadium project. I remember very well.
2000.
Yes, I remember very well. In fact, when I was leaving office, the saloon car I was using, the Peugeot 406, I was given the option to buy it after evaluating my state transport. I declined. I declined because I didn't need it. That was not my type of car. I didn't need it. And then wrote to them that thank you. I drove the car to the office of the president.
Oh, really?
Left office.
You're a very nice man.
Not nice man. Because of some of these things, you should have sympathy for the average person. And then one day you should have the courage and boldness to talk about them. But if you yourself...
Because if you know you didn't do it, then you can talk about it.
Yes. And if we should encourage ourselves to do it. As I said, the roads ministry, the same thing happened. BMW 7 Series.
I think he declined it, though.
He didn't. He was using it.
Mr.
The media.
So.
Yes, the media had to make so much noise.
Before he declined.
The last time we heard, the office of the president had asked that the car should be sent to
I think what he said was that he said they should send it to the office of the president.
Yes. And that was supposed to be for monitoring of road projects. Are we serious? Would the donors take a serious?
Do you think this is wanton dissipation of state resources?
Obviously. And then lack of prudence in the things that we do. I mean, what would it take for you to have a pickup? You have some of these pickups which are comfortable enough and say that I use the pickup to go and inspect projects.
Ministers should sit in a pickup.
What's wrong with that? I mean, is he more human? Is he more human?
As a country. No comment on as a country. What action do you think the president needs to take?
Well, the systems are there. After the report, for me, what I want to see is that the judiciary will act on some of these malfeasance. That is all. Because if actions are not taken, then it gives people the courage to continue.
Someone will say you haven't been appointed a deputy minister.
I will never do that. I will never do it.
All right.
Because
wait, I think the next batch of ministers you should be appointed so that the next time you come on the program, we see whether kind of car you'll be in the same posture and talk like this.
No, but you should be able to reject.
You seem to be a very nice young man.
You should be able to reject certain things that you think.